in the building. It's time for the Google Sports Session on the Wednesday. We ain't got time to play around. Y'all know Hugh Lee. Say what up, Hugh.
What's good, people?
Damn out of dumb. This is too much going on. Straight to it. Let's go.
Shamar Moore, man, being fired from the Michigan Wolverines, man, just happened, man. Surprised the hell out of everybody. I was definitely trying to give my information to let people know before everybody else did. And it was crazy. It was a track race. I think about 3 minutes later, that's when everybody else's news was coming in. But at the same time, they gave us the fact that he was fired, but didn't tell us why he was fired. And he was having an inappropriate relationship with someone on campus. And, they say that it was a Michigan rule, not everybody else's rule as far as in college. So I want to know, what are your thoughts on that, E? Because you already know how I feel about the situation, but I'm going to let you talk about it, and then I'll converse and give my opinion.
All right, again, y'all, we got a lot to talk about, so I ain't going to hold y'all too much. First of all, setup. Set up from get-go. If that dude's having inappropriate relations on Michigan's campus, as much as they've been scrutinized these last 2-3 years, they knew about it before today. Okay? They've known about it for weeks. Hell, they probably known about it for months, first of all. Second of all, that goes against the university's code of conduct, not the NCAA or whatnot. It's back to one of those scenarios where, like, you know how some places you could work and you could date your coworkers, and some places you can't? That's what this boils down to. Now, understand, Shamar Moore is 39 years old. If the inappropriate relationship was with one of the students that's under 21, oh yeah, I see what that goes. But if it's basically one of the people that are working off something like that, and she was of age, they was like here with each other and whatnot, they could have let that ride. And they would have let that ride if he was Coach Harbaugh. They would have let that ride if he was Coach Schembechler. They would have let him ride if he was many of these big-time coaches in college football. But he was Shamar, and the buzz been out there ever since we lost to that team down south, and how the offense looked this year, seeing he's the offensive coordinator, and that offense, the only time it really looked good was when Mr. Poggi, who interestingly enough is now the interim coach, that's interesting, took over. Understand, Bryce Underwood is the golden goose. I can promise y'all that he was discussed with before this move happened. And if in the end he would have been like, Shamar, my guy, they would have gave him a slap on the wrist, told him to quit, old girl, and kept it pushing. But because my man was like, I ain't really feeling coach like that, he up out of there. Bottom line, the big dogs wanted him gone. The president probably wanted him gone. Half of the boosters wanted him gone. That's why he gone. Plain simple. Go, few.
You know what I thought too, because of the fact that, remember what I said before we knew about the allegations with the inappropriate relationship. I thought that I didn't really think that it was because of Ohio State loss. It was just about how vanilla they looked and how poor the execution.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's what I thought was the case at first. But then, they had this golden goose, and they had that tucked in for a while, and they decided they wanted to use that as leverage right now. And then we thought too, as before the show came on, we said this is one of Coach Harbaugh guys, and I was thinking that was held against him too, because he was still one of the leftover guys from all the allegations. So yeah, I definitely feel like you felt, man. They wanted to make an excuse, and they wanted to make an example out of Sherrod Moore, man. As far
Right.
as
Not to mention the fact, remember, he still has some more suspensions and stuff to serve next year. So now that you got rid of him, you don't have that problem anymore. We are now in compliance, as the NCAA likes to say. But long story short, I think Poggi, the interim coach, will end up being the head coach if most of the recruits that's coming to Ann Arbor next year sign off on that. If not, then Michigan will probably have a new coach sometime in the next 10 to 14 days. Somebody high profile that they're going to pay lots of money to.
You've been hearing the rumors. They already talking about stuff like Marcus Freeman and John Gruden.
See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. They already plotting on who's going to be the next head coach.
Mm-hmm. And don't be surprised if they ask certain people like, say, Tom Brady, what he thinks and whatnot.
Yeah, absolutely. Be an advisor on the next coach.
Right. Desmond Howard, people of that nature, people of that ilk. But anyway, yeah, this is just a story that didn't hit us like a brick right quick. We'll probably have a lot more to say about it next time around, but we got a lot more to talk about. So let's get to it here.
doubleheader thriller in the women's basketball. Number 7, Maryland and Minnesota. That was a crazy game. It was a really good game. I think that was Minnesota game to lose, and they did just that. But you got to give credit where credit is due. That was a hell of an effort on Maryland part. They was real gritty, and I felt like they wanted it more. Even when they went into the overtimes, they definitely was the team who wanted it more. And in the double overtime, they proved it.
Maryland has had a good ball game coach for years now. Her name is Breeze. Please look into her. She is one of the better coaches in the country right now. She recruits well. Keep in mind, she was the coach that recruited Angel Reese. She was the coach that recruited Olivia Miles at first. There's been some good people that kind of got through the cracks, but also good people on that Maryland squad. Okay, it's like 4 people from Maryland that's currently in the dub. Okay, that being said, the leading scorer in that game was a young lady, Miss I believe her name is Poppenberger. Before she came to Maryland, you know what school she went to?
Where she went to, the
UConn.
Oh,
Yeah, she's a
man.
UConn transfer.
UConn been
And like I
definitely.
said, and keep in mind, Maryland is one of several very good teams in Big Ten this year. Bottom line is Big Ten and SEC, you're gonna see a lot of great basketball these next couple months between them squads.
Speaking of, I'm glad you brought me into that, E, because Big Ten women basketball ties a record with 9 teams in the women's poll right now. What are
Including
your
both
thoughts
our
on
Michigan teams. Very impressive. But like I said, if you've been watching basketball this season, you see it's a lot of very good teams. You know, you got the Iowa team, that's a good team. They got that kid Stuckey that's playing pretty good. They also got Penn State in the mix. You know, they got McYomi Miller. If you haven't seen her play, definitely a must watch.
that? Yeah, I
Uh,
love you.
Again, the Maryland squad's a good squad. Um, that team down south, they have a decent squad. I mean, it's a lot of good. And then, of course, remember, Big Ten also has UCLA and
Yeah,
USC.
USC. My homegirl, Jazzy Davis, been balling too. You're right. I've been keeping my eye on her, man. They locked her down in that first quarter in one of the games. I think she only had like 2 4 points. Then she turned around and had like 22 points that next half. So, yeah, I definitely been looking at them, man. And like you said, if Juju was on the team, man, I definitely think that they'd be making a hell of a run right now.
Here she probably will be, along with her and the number one recruit coming in from 2026. So that squad got a very bright future.
Shout out to Juju too, man, for giving the whole team the shoes, man, when she did. You know, she ain't had to do anything. She could have just been at home, but it was good that she showed love to her teammates with the new shoes release.
And understand, they got multiple pairs of those shoes, by the way.
I didn't know that. That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah. So yeah, Juju been doing a lot of good things. You know, much like Paige Beckers, she's been donating a lot of her NIL money to different causes and whatnot. I really appreciate people like that that don't forget where they come from.
That's what's up, man. Hall of Famer Sue Bird, man. How did you like that ceremony with her, man, when she retired her UConn jersey? I think that was well deserved. One of the better
I don't
UConn.
know why that has just now happened. You know, Sue Bird
Yeah,
been a UConn legend for well over 2 3 decades. Remember, she
yeah,
played 20 plus seasons in the dub. Understanding that the WNBA is only like 30 years old. So most of the years it was the WNBA, there was a Sue Bird in the WNBA. And I do believe they already have done Diana Taurasi's jersey. So I really don't understand why it took so long to do this. But I'm glad they had her do that. You know, several great players in the Raptors now for UConn. You got her, you got Taurasi, you of course got Maya Moore, you got Tina Charles. The list goes on and on and on. Oh, her name will come to me. Keep going.
Who, Stu?
Yes, Stewie also, but no, that's not who I'm thinking.
Okay. Aldi Crooks, man, scored 30 points in 19 minutes. Now, E, she has scored more points than she had minutes, man. That's impressive to me. But then, like you said, oh man, she looked gorgeous on that picture. Look at her. They always be trying to make fun of her because of her weight, man. But I think that right now, like you said, that she's an effective player, man. We know when she go to that next level, she's gonna have to trim down for her sake of getting minutes. But at the same time, man, right now she's dominating and she's dominating at a high level, man. It's a good and a bad of this whole situation, but I want to know how long can that last?
Understand, you want her to trim down some, but not too much.
Not too much.
She would not be nearly as effective in the post if she was a no, let me not put it that way. Because I really don't want to make it about her weight so much as her skill level.
Not at all, man, because it
Because keep
ain't
in
really
mind,
about
she doesn't just score in the low post. She can score from the perimeter. She's a good free throw shooter. And the problem that she will have is that they will want her to lose the weight because of the defensive liability she becomes. Because if you can't go up and down with the fours and the fives and the W, you only have so much use. So yeah, an ideal where I could see her making a dub and be a very effective six person, but in terms of a starting role, yeah, they're gonna definitely have to either say, okay, we're just gonna accept that you are that and go with that, or basically just use her in limited minutes, much like Iowa State does now.
good thing too, man, is like my homegirl, man. We've seen it happen before, but Elisa Pilley wasn't as big as her. But now, Elisa Pilley dropped a lot of her weight too, man. And that's going to be effective for her. But like you said, I don't really think it's a lot to really lose with her. I say 20,
I
maybe
mean,
20.
because ideally you would want her to get into the type of shape like, say, Brianna Jones, who plays for the Atlanta squad in the WNBA, where
Definitely know who you're talking about.
she's still stocky, but still
She's solid.
effective.
Yes. And she
And,
could take minutes in the bruise. Yeah, Brianna Jones actually a pretty good player too, man. Stop bringing up all these players from your schools.
no, Brianna Jones actually went to that Maryland school we just talked about.
Yeah. She's actually awesome, man. I definitely like her game.
No, remember I said Brianna Jones, not Brianna. Hey, what's going on? I guess to interrupt the show for a minute because I got an update on the Shamar Moore story, the fire coach from Michigan. Apparently, according to reports, Shamar Moore was detained this evening by the Saline, Michigan police and was later turned over to a second area police department for investigation into the potential charges. The City of Saline Police Department, according to this quote, assisted in locating and detaining former University of Michigan football coach Sharon Moore. Mr. Moore was turned over to the Pittsfield Township Police for investigating into potential charges following an investigation into Moore's conduct with a staff member. Now, if the police are involved in this thing, my thinking is that this staff member, whoever it is probably underage, as in probably under 21 and whatnot. And perhaps that inappropriate situation may have something of a sexual misconduct nature. Again, we don't know these to be facts. It's just me speculating. But clearly, if the police are involved in this matter now, we got a real big situation brewing down there in Ann Arbor. Okay, that being said, any more things like that pop up on the feed, I will let you know. Back to the show, guys. Stewart,
Yes.
remember people.
Alea Stewart, man, career high 33 points for Oklahoma, man. Do you think that she's making as much of an impact? Because at first she's been kind of silent, but now she's been hitting her stride now. I think she's starting to get more
No,
comfortable.
she hit the freshman wall early on, true enough, but
Yes.
she's starting to get comfortable in her play. We'll start to see a lot more of her because as the season goes on, we'll start to see a lot more of the SEC and the Big Ten schools come on TV. So we'll see more of what she got going. But no, that Oklahoma squad, don't sleep on them. They're a
They're
very
actually
good squad. It's just so many of those top tier squads that's just a little bit better than them overall because they have more bench play and whatnot. But yeah, they definitely got a good squad over there.
I know this wasn't on the actual list, man, but E, how did you feel about that crazy game yesterday with my man Debansa? And, Clemson had such a big lead. I set up and watched the game, and I was like, Clemson blowing them out. It was about like 22, 24 points at the first half. In the second half, I noticed, I was like, man, it was a 10-1 run. Let me stay on, continue to watch the game. I turned my attention from the game, was texting and doing other stuff that I normally do, and just watching sports. I looked up, man, and next thing you know, the game was tied, man, and they ended up winning that game. They said it was a heck of a comeback, but at the same time, man, do you think BYU's that good, or Clemson should have did a better job at
No,
executing?
BYU was that good. Remember, they had a very similar game to that a couple weeks ago when they played UConn, and they was down big, but didn't
Yes,
make
that was a
the
really good
comeback
game. E.
in. And Benson did it because remember that first half he didn't play so well, but that second half he came into his own. And I think part of what happens with BYU is that at times the Benson's trying to be more of a facilitator, kind of play a more LeBron James type game, but then at times it's like, look, let me do what I came here to do, and he takes over. And I think he needs to play more like that than that. I don't think his game is more, he has some LeBron in his game, but I see him more like Tracy McGrady like.
He should have definitely took over that game before it was too late, too, because it was just a little too late in that UConn game. This game, it didn't happen that way. Okay, man. The men's part of basketball, NCAA, number one, Purdue, man. How did you feel about them getting blew out like they did by Iowa State, man? That score was like 81-58. Do you expect that from Purdue after just getting the number one seed or the spot?
Keep in mind, again, much like the women's Big Ten, the men's Big Ten got several good teams, but unlike in the women's game where it's kind of like slight less levels between them,
some teams match up better with others.
It's pretty much Michigan and Michigan State, and then everybody else is on that second tier. Purdue is on that second tier. I think they was bound to have a loss like that sooner or later. They'll be a tournament team, no doubt about it. But if you see Michigan and Michigan State play, you can tell they might be in the Final Four together.
Did you hear that when they was talking, man, online? You know how they talk on social media, but it was funny to me. But they said all of the players from Michigan need to be drug tested because most of the wins they had have been by 31 or greater.
I can tell you, you need to watch it for yourself. That's a damn good team. Good team.
I knew they was good, but I didn't think they was that good, man. Did you feel that way at the beginning of the season?
They're doing pretty good in recruiting, by the way, so I think they just add to the stack.
Michigan State ended up losing against Cameron Boozer and Duke, man. He had 18 points, including the 16 points in that second half. I still feel like, regardless of the fact, even without Coach K, people need to understand, don't get it twisted, because that Purdue team is the truth. And you know they're going to, I said Purdue, Duke. The Duke team basically have still the power. They're one of the powerhouse teams in college sports and recruiting.
Duke is Duke. They're going to be on TV more than Leave It to Beaver reruns. If anybody remembers that quote from back in the day. Absolutely. Oh, good news, Hugh. The weather is going to increase next week. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt the show with that, but I just like to see that.
Break, man.
It's really cold and snowy and icy here in Detroit today, and we ain't liking it. But anyway, back to the show. Yeah, Duke has a very good team. They will always have a good team because that's Duke is one of those places that recruits itself.
Absolutely.
Kids grew up watching Duke, seeing it on TV. You know, if you go to Duke, people gonna see you on TV. That's what it mainly is about. Getting on TV, getting your NIL deal, and getting to the pros. You pretty much accomplish all that if you go to a basketball school like Duke or Michigan State. And apparently Michigan, they back in that mix now. So, it makes sense. But yeah, it was a good matchup. Not quite as good as the Arkansas Michigan State matchup from earlier in the season. But again, I'm waiting for the Big Ten to start playing each other. It's going to be a lot of good games on the men and the women's side.
And I definitely want to see that Duke North Carolina game this year. I really think that's going to be another.
Yeah, the ACC also got several good teams.
My man Caleb Wilson, man. Dude, that dude is incredible.
Again, I don't know what's going on at Vanderbilt these days. You're getting all the smart athletes.
Most definitely.
Yeah, like I said, even their volleyball team been pretty good. I mean, it's a lot going on at Vanderbilt. So if you got a kid, kind of want to get away, go to an intellectual school, that might be one of them you want to have a look at.
Men's Big Ten has 10 teams that they said who possibly might make it to the tournament. Is that believable to you?
Yes, absolutely. And I imagine if we look at SEC and ACC, between the two of them, you probably got another 16 teams. You know how it's set up nowadays, Hugh. There's those three big conferences in basketball. There's the two big conferences in football. So it should come as no surprise when tournament time comes. You're gonna get about 8 or 9 SEC schools, about 10 Big Ten schools, about 5 or 6 ACC schools, and then everybody else get in where you're fitting.
Before we get into the pro sports, man, we got to talk about this young lady. Did you get a chance to pull up a picture of her?
Let me see if I got that for us. Keep going. I got you.
Megan Nestor, man, that chick had 34 points and 31 rebounds. At first, when Eric showed me that, I said,
What the
"Ain't no
hell
way."
you just say?
Huh?
What the hell you just say?
Megan?
No, she did what now?
Oh, that's something I never heard of, man. That was history, man. When I heard that, I said, "Ain't no way." When you said it, that's what I think I said, "Ain't no way." And I went over and checked it. Sure enough, looked at them highlights, man. That chick had 34 points and 31 rebounds. Did you know how insane that sound, man? 31
That's
rebounds?
why I had you repeat it, sir.
That is the
But
craziest
understand, as crazy as that sound, let me talk about the real story behind that story, sir. As I'm getting her picture pulled up now, producing live on the show. Look at E. Anyway,
thing.
check it out. This kid, Megan Nestor, right? Here she is, right? Give me a second. Give me a second. Yeah, right here. As you see, she is 6'3", a 6'3" senior from Canara, St. Lucia. So yeah, she comes from the islands. And keep in mind, in her life on the island, she did many things. Guess what? One of them wasn't
Basketball.
basketball. She did
She
not
just started
actually
playing.
start playing basketball till she went to school.
That's
There
crazy.
now. So 4 years she's played basketball. And she is so good that she has made a record that only two other women in the last 45 years of women's college basketball Division One have accomplished. That is just crazy work.
Absolutely. And think about only 4 years, man. Just imagine that she
Four
had 8 years.
years. So I say, based on that one game alone, you know she probably gonna get a look in that draft for the WNBA.
She only gonna get better, man. That is
She
insane.
only gonna get better.
I was
Because again,
definitely
here's her numbers for the season right now. As you see, she averaging a double-double with
pretty much.
13.2 and 12-1. But also shooting 60% from the field for the Texas Mean Green. I like that.
We
So
wasn't
yeah,
too happy.
we will definitely add her to our list of players to watch.
We wasn't too happy with their football team.
That's a whole nother discussion.
Okay, the most surprising teams right now in the NBA to you, you know we got the Pistons on that list because we're not saying that we think they were going to be good, but not this good this early on in the season. The Lakers, man, it was like they're doing it with Austin Reeves and they're doing it with Luca and LeBron's basically going in and distributing and playing when he needs to, but they don't really need a 30, 40 point or like either a 20, 30 point LeBron James, man, because they got the tools and the people around him now, man. And the Spurs, man, that young team over there, man, the 16-7. But then, I put the three teams in that I thought that was doing good and surprisingly good. But then we got to talk about this team too, the Milwaukee Bucks at 10-15. We already been hearing the ransom rumors about what's going on with Giannis. Do you think that after this year that Giannis is going to decide to stay with the Milwaukee Bucks or he's going to finally move on?
If Giannis does not leave next year, then he will be a Milwaukee Buck for life. That is what I'm saying. And he will be a Milwaukee Buck for life because at that point he has said, I just like it here. They're gonna pay me. I'm gonna get paid, so it's all good. I'm just gonna stay here. We won another championship. Cool. We don't. I still got a ring. If Giannis is thinking, I want to be a champion, and when all is said and done, I want to be one of the greats of all time, because we already know Giannis did not take another step on the basketball floor. He is a Hall of Famer right freaking now. So that being said, yeah, I think Giannis got him, dog.
Me too. I just
We
don't want to
already
be.
know the three places that he's more likely to go to: the
And they
Knicks,
already.
the
Mhm.
Lakers, or the Clippers.
And it's funny because they showed him in all three jerseys too, man. And I think that it's time because the one thing is, look how much you could get just from getting rid of this dude and to rebuild your franchise, man. But at the same time, I just don't think his passion is there, man. We'd have definitely thought too after them losing my man's Dame Dollar. I said that yeah, I didn't really too much like how that materialized, and then they ended up getting Miles Turner on the team, which didn't really make too much sense to me because they still don't got a ball distributor. And now they're 10-15 on the outside looking in right now. Not saying that they could make a good move or make a comeback or what have you. But I just don't think that this is something that's going to pan out. And
And they
it
got
don't really seem like
pieces on that team. They got a few decent role players. When you look at Bobby Porter Jr., for instance, and I forget the kid that does the shooting, but nonetheless, they got enough to make it interesting because they're in the East, but
it.
they
Then
don't
they
have.
got Kuzma.
They would, yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. They don't have enough to win. They don't. So again, it's on Giannis. If Giannis tells them, "Look, y'all might be going to trade me, bro. I ain't coming back," then they got to do what they got to do. But if in
Pretty
the
much.
end Giannis say, "Okay, I give y'all a chance to work some stuff out," then by all means, you got to handle business. But remember, Milwaukee mid-market team, so it's not like people gonna be like Milwaukee, yeah. Well, you get to play with Giannis. That's cool. What else you got? We got Milwaukee. I've been to Milwaukee. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Okay. Do you think the Thunder has a chance to repeat? Right now, they're 23 and
Yes,
1, and they're only getting better.
yes.
Hey, that's all I
The
need
answer
to
is yes.
know.
23-1 speaks for itself.
And those guys still seem like they're hungry. We remember how
You not
smothering that
understand,
defense was.
Hugh, that if they win another 30 games, they are automatically in the playoffs at that point.
That's
They
impressive.
they might qualify for the playoffs at this rate by what? Mid-March? That's nuts.
Hey, let's get to the
Like
nitty
20
gritty.
games left to go.
I just don't really see them being beat by nobody or to the point where they'll
I mean,
lose
and
7
you know the
games
other
to
reason why we say that, Hugh, they're not even at their best right now. They
them at
second
all.
best player ain't even played the season yet.
Not really. He coming off the bench and playing a little minimum minutes, but he's not where he needs to be right now.
Y'all ain't seen nothing yet.
Let's talk about something that we definitely wasn't happy with the NBA, and we didn't get a chance to really talk about it last week because that's when it first happened. But where would you think that CP3 will land his NBA career with this being his last, season with the NBA? Where
Does
do you
it
think it
matter?
should be?
Truthfully, he should end it somewhere on somebody's announce table. Truthfully, he should be done right now because in the end, you tried to get you a ring, bro. You tried everything you could. Outside of that, what else you got left to prove? You done made your money, big time money. Granted, you got hold, okay? Part of your legacy is the fact that when you got traded to the Lakers, they didn't approve the deal. And to this
Absolutely.
day, I still feel that was a very shady situation, okay? Because if him and Kobe would have hooked up,
That would have
it
been
would have been
buzz. That would
powerful.
have been it. Championship.
At least a couple more. But
I
anyway, it happened, bro. Such is life.
didn't
Go ahead,
really necessarily
ride off into the sunset, wait for your yellow jacket, and coach your son.
didn't necessarily surprise me neither the way that team just how it debacled, man. You had older CP3, Kawhi Leonard, who only thinks about Kawhi Leonard when he's healthy.
Truthfully.
And then you have James Harden, who only gonna do so much on defense, who's a defensive liability. So
Truth.
yeah, I think at the time too, I agree with you. It's time for him to walk up in the sunset, man, and go ahead to the
Right.
NBA.
'Cause
Do
he was too aggressive for a young team in the Spurs, so that's why they let him go. He too aggressive for an older team that don't need his leadership like that. So yeah, I mean, it's time to just go ahead and cut it loose.
Do you think his buddy LeBron James to join him after this season?
You know, I would only say maybe because we don't know how bad that sciatica is really bothering him. Because clearly it's bothering him still. But yet and still, if he's willing to accept a secondary role, even be like a six man, you know what I'm saying? Because that takes a lot of pride to do that after being the man for 20 years. If he's trying to do that, I can still see him playing in the league another 2, 3 more years like that. You
Yeah,
know,
because
we
he's
just
going to have a whole load on him.
one of the best players in the league right now at 40. So yeah, it's on him, man. It's
And he
on
can
him.
still take over a game when necessary, man.
That being said, though, I will say this should be his last year with the Lakers, though.
Because I'm looking at it and I'm thinking Austin Reeves stepped his game up. He's damn near averaging 30. Then you got Luka having one of the best, years of his career. And then you got the young kid, Jake Laravia, who just came out of nowhere. So they got the pieces and they were doing really good without him.
Moore been playing.
Man, he stepped his game up better, man, more than what I thought he would. He's been a huge asset to that team.
Absolutely.
All right, E-Man, if you want, man, we can kind of move over now and we can start talking about the college championship games.
Okay, now before we do that, let's please take our break here. We are going to take our commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk about 12 teams. They've been set. It's a lot of controversy with it. We're going to kick y'all with it when we come back after these words from Nighthawk Network. Y'all know the motto, people. Nighthawk Network, our voices for our people.
Hello, hello, hello. It's another glorious day, my T-Steppers, and you know what time it is. I hope you have all of your comfort together because it's time to dish tea. And you're dishing tea, darlings, with Big Meat.
Can't wait. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat.
Darling.
If you're building your dream from scratch, mic in one hand, hustle in the other, this one's for you. Road to Stardom Network and Nighthawk Network present, a podcast for the indie by the indie, all genres, all grinds. From hip-hop to metal, jazz to trap, we're breaking boundaries. And it's not just artists. Entrepreneurs, creatives, and self-made bosses, we see you. We're giving you the spotlight. This ain't mainstream, this is your stream. Coming soon. Be ready.
All right, we are back. This is the Guru Sports Session. The Guru is there. I'm here. But before we go on, let me mention that one of the people that's on the show this week, that would be me, also was the special guest on one of the other podcasts that I produced. That would be the Indie Experience, where I talked about my upcoming album that I'm releasing. I've been doing AI music now for the last few months, and I now have enough to where I'm doing a whole album of jazz music. It is called Jazz Cafe and Oblivica. I will be posting little snippets and certain songs from it in the next couple of days, and I believe sometime this weekend I have the whole album that I'm going to put on YouTube for you guys to listen to and check out. So by all means, please check out my music. Also, shout out to Big Meech from Dishing Tea with Big Meech. He is also debuting an album this week. You can find that on the distrokid.com. That's distrokid.com. Shout out to my man, the Big Stu. What's going on, man?
Hey, man, we can get right into it, man. If you want to pull up the rankings, because we're going to talk about the games, but let's pull out the rank. Do you want to pull out the rankings first or talk about the games that just previously happened?
Well, I guess we should talk about the games first because that leads to the rankings.
Okay. So number 1, Indiana now, versus number 1, Ohio State. How did you like that game and how everything went down and it materialized?
That team down south, they lost. You know I was loving it.
I didn't know that defense was that good. Indiana, man. Damn.
Okay, now
They're a problem, They're a problem.
Let me have a piece of this humble pie, because you remember when it all started and they was all highly ranked, I was first one talking about, man, Indiana, they a fraud. They don't deserve to be up in here. All of them fake. Indiana, Penn State, Illinois. Yeah, I was right about most of them. I clearly was not right about Indiana.
And you wasn't right about Fernando Mendoza.
All the way up. Nor am I right about Mendoza, who should very well be on his way to New York to be winning that Heisman Trophy this year. or next weekend, one of them 2 weekends. But anyway, yeah, it's his.
He
This year,
definitely
he is him.
he wasn't rattled after that interception, and that's what I thought that was going to take him out the game. But he stayed poised, man. There wasn't a lot of offense going on in the game, but when they needed him the most, man, he pulled out that clutch victory. And what was so funny, I don't know if you saw it, but the Ohio State kicker was heckling the Indiana fans. And then he messed around and muffed that kick, man. I said, man, you need to be doing all that foolishness. And that's what I believe that was the icing on the cake, that missed kick, because they didn't look back. Because they thought it was going to be overtime, and then it ended up being Ohio State loss, man.
Right, because keep in mind, I wasn't trying to watch it for real, but I did tune into some of it. And I'm like, okay, well, at least they're making it interesting for that team down south. But I woke up the next morning like, what, they won? They won for real? Got them. So,
This is
that
what-
being said, I still stick to my original statement.
Mhm.
All this said and done, that stupid team from down south still gonna mess around and go back to back.
I wouldn't be surprised. That's all the motivation they needed was that loss,
Even if they
man.
do face Indiana again.
This is the game that a lot of people really, this is where the controversy comes in at. You already know what I'm about to talk about right now. Number 9 Alabama versus number 3 Georgia. In this game, you can't make excuses and say, oh, this person's banged up and that person was banged up, because it was banged up people on both sides. But at the end of the day, people didn't feel like Alabama came through and they didn't come out to play. It was 14-0 at the half, and it just seemed like they couldn't get their footing under. And one of the biggest issues to me was they need to get, which I believe with all these recruits that's going there right now or committed, they need to focus on one of those guys, man. Yeah, of course, Jam Miller is hurt, and that was a huge X factor, but was he really effective like that when he did play? Daniel Hill definitely not the answer right now, man. Did you see that man stats that game? 4 carries, 11 yards, bro. Hell, we could have went out there and got that.
They got better running backs coming. They got better running backs in the system. Don't worry. That being said, as I really look at it now, was they really that focused on winning the SEC championship for like the 14th time? However many times they won that, boy. Or was they thinking ahead like, okay, let's just play now, don't get nobody else hurt, and get ready for the championship run? Because think about it. And at this point, I think it should be like this from now on in the college playoff. Who are the 2 best conferences in America when it comes to football, Hugh?
Big Ten, SEC.
Bottom line, whatever 2 teams make that championship game for either side, them 4 teams automatically in. Shouldn't even be a debate on it no more. I don't give a damn keep in mind, if you made it to the Big Ten championship game, you ain't gonna have no more than 3 or 4 losses.
Mm-hmm.
Back to the SEC, you ain't gonna have more than 2 or 3 losses. You worked. Because you done made it that far. You won your conference on that end. You made your championship game. You should be in. Whether it's 12 teams, 16 teams, 24 teams, hella bad, it's all the same. So that's why Alabama is in, because if they hadn't played in the championship game, based on their record, they would have been in anyway.
Regardless, man. And when I seen that, I was like, man, you could tell they was playing vanilla E, and they was playing a little bit too careful in that game.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, I definitely believe you. It's like they already figured they had punched their ticket, and we don't really have to talk about this game.
That's the difference between the SEC championship game and that Big Ten championship. Them 2 teams in the Big Ten championship, they was trying to win for real.
Mm-hmm.
For real.
It's funny that all 4 teams are in. It was in them championship games.
As they should be.
And then I have to eat some of that humble pie. You know what I'm saying? Cheesecake. Number 11 BYU versus number 4 Texas Tech. Yes, Texas Tech is the best team in Texas, because not only did they punch BYU in the mouth once, they punched them in the mouth and knocked their teeth out twice. In that game, I mean, what else to talk about, E? That final score was 34-7. BYU showed up in that first half or either the first quarter and just disappeared.
Again, Texas Tech, one of the best teams that money could buy. because they went into the portal and got the NIL money, that big Texas oil money, and they spent it,
That
and they
oil
bought
type.
it, and it got them where they are now.
Yeah, 34-7, man. That was a whooping.
Again, the difference between them and Texas A&M, that defense suspect. Texas
They
Tech,
give
that
up,
defense for real, and they got a better offense.
they give up that 30.
Mm-hmm.
Surprising game to me, man. And I gotta start putting respect on their name too, Ig. I don't know if we was that much this year, but I believe we have gave Duke a little bit of credit this year. We have just dogged them and counted them out. But Duke facing number 17, Virginia. What was your thoughts on that game? Because Duke ended up pulling it out in overtime. I just never really was too convinced with Virginia, even though when they beat Florida State, they were still top ranked. But then we seen how, Florida State fell off a cliff. And we thought that Virginia was going to be solidified as one of these teams who can possibly, if they would have beat Duke, make it into the playoffs. And they just laid the egg when they needed to win.
Duke and Virginia are basketball schools, okay? The fact that they even in this thing is impressive. That being said, it don't matter who would have won from that conference. They just getting a participation trophy in the end.
Speaking of too, man, let's talk about this, man. What's going on right now when it comes to college right now, man? You've been saying that it's dead right now when it comes to these bowl games, man. You got 10 teams who decline the bowl games right now.
And let me give y'all the run of them. I didn't post that, but I do get that in my info. So momentary here, keep going here.
Because they fined Iowa State and Kansas State, like, was it like $500,000 or something like that from not, playing in the
All
ball
right, here
game?
we go. These are the 10 teams as of the moment, because other teams are also considering this.
It's going to happen.
A bowl bid. That would be, of course, the team we will talk about in a minute, Notre Dame. We got Kansas State, Iowa State, Baylor University, Rutgers, Florida State, Auburn, Temple, Central Florida, and Kansas. Those teams said, yeah, y'all want to put us in the ball game? We good. No, thank you.
Crazy part about it too, what I believe is going to happen is not only would all these teams said that they're done, but why would they want to play if they're not playing in like a playoff game? We've talked about that before. We've even seen guys pack up when they got hurt in the middle of the season and say, I'm going to just focus on my NBA career and go into the combine, man.
Let me tell you, I'll give you a reason why they should want to play. It's very simple. The programs that make the most money for the college sports in terms of the schools is obviously the football programs and the basketball programs. Okay? If you want these kids to play in tournaments or whatever, or the bowl games, it's very simple. It's 2025, y'all. Y'all know what time it is. We got these corporate sponsors that sponsor these bowl games or whatnot. You simply go to them and be like, yeah, y'all want to have a good bowl game? You want everybody to play? Let me tell you like Jerry Maguire. Show me the money! You start paying these kids, they'll play. They will pay.
They're going to have to pay them or give them some type of money for winning them bowl games too,
That's
man.
what I'm saying. You make a big ass pot, like the winner get $1 million to spend the money, blah, 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 blah. Or the winners get 5 grip a piece, whatever it is, to make it work their while. Y'all can afford that. Especially some of these sponsors of the bowls, we talking about billion and $1 billion companies. And if they can't afford it, guess what? You find some corporations that can. Let Netflix sponsor a bowl game. They apparently got some money. Let Paramount sponsor a bowl game. They clearly have a lot of loot to throw around. You see what I'm saying?
Man, you see how they outbidded Netflix, man? Where you coming up with $102.4 billion from, man?
You getting it from certain families and whatnot. That just lets you know how big some people's money is in this country. So for those of us out here struggling, it's families like the families that own Walmart and things of that nature that just got stupid money to throw around.
Agreed. I'm ready when you ready, E-Man. If you want, we could take a quick break or we could just go straight into it, brother.
No need. So after everything's said and done, here are the 12 teams that's left for the playoff. Let's talk about it.
Yes, sir. How did you feel about that Jameson Madison reaching that number 12?
Well, good people, it had to happen at some point that you
Had
let
to
one of
break up
these
the
teams at
season
least try to be in the playoff and do something. Keep in mind, in an ideal world, if I'm looking at it from a straight, is this the best 12 teams in the country? Do these 12 teams have the opportunity to play in this bowl and win a national championship? Y'all see what I see. 5 of these schools don't have no business being on this list, okay? They're not about to win that janky monkey. And JMU obviously is the first one I would pick that's not going to win. If Oregon loses to them, I'd be stunned.
Damn.
Flabbergasted. And keep in mind, if they do by some miracle beat Oregon, then they got Texas Tech to deal with. They're not beating them 2 teams. I'm sorry. I done seen James Madison play. They not ready. They not worthy.
That Alabama-Oklahoma rematch, man, what do you see out of that one?
Now, that's going to be a good one.
Oklahoma.
That being said, it all depends on how well Alabama heals up. But that being said, Oklahoma, I don't see them winning because
They're going to be Indiana.
not healthy. Even though they have about a couple weeks to prepare, I think he still will not be healthy at that point. They get to the quarterback, rattle him, they win. Plain simple.
Tulane, man, I was surprised they was in it too, but Ole Miss going to definitely have
Again, you got to give the other schools in the country some incentive to want to do this for the time being. Keep in mind, we had 12 teams right now. Rest assured, people, based on how this went down and how they purposely did it, where they purposely took Notre Dame out, this was actually a thing. Because remember, if you looked at the special, they talked about the last couple days in the room where they decide who's going to play. The 3 teams they kept arguing about was Miami, Notre Dame, and Alabama. In the end, they stopped talking about Alabama when they felt like, okay, they're in the SEC. That's the best football conference. They made it to the championship game and deserve to be in. So that left them to deal with Miami, Notre Dame, BYU, et cetera, et cetera. Now, remember, all year I've been saying Notre Dame is in no matter what, unless they lose multiples. Thank God I was wrong. I will accept being wrong on that one. Because they didn't deserve to be in. Yeah, they won 10 games in a row. We get it. But who the hell they play?
Nobody's, man. That was like some of the worst teams that they beat. And the 2 teams that was relevant on there beat them pretty convincingly.
And yeah, they talk about, well, we better than James Madison. And let's be honest, y'all. They show the hell is. Okay? We better than Tulane. Again, they show the hell is. What they are not is affiliated. Because in their greed as a program, they have still stubbornly stuck to, we're not about to sign with none of these conferences with our football. We want all our football money, contracts and television rights and all to ourselves.
And that's what bit them right there, man. Them being greedy and selfish is the reason they said we're about to make an example out of Notre Dame. Because think about it, E. Everybody else is affiliated with Notre Dame besides them, and I guess is it the baseball team are independent.
No, all the other sports, all of them are affiliated with the ACC. The only one that's not is the football program.
There you go. And then how dare them talk that crazy mess, man, talking about, well, yeah, man, we feel like we've been snubbed and how dare you to the ACC? Because remember what they said about the ACC. They looked at them and feel like it was a form of betrayal. But what about when they was trying to get all of the schools in Notre Dame to join ACC and the football program said, go F yourself. We good. We pass on that.
Now, here's the thing. And I can see this possibly happening. We got 10 teams that declined the bowl. One of them is Notre Dame. Who's to say they don't go and hook up like, hey, y'all, since we ain't in no bowl, Y'all want to do a little something? We can get it put on TV. Cause I promise you, if they did that, and it's like, yeah, we're gonna play say Rutgers, for instance, and make our own little bowl game. They will televise that, boy. They will get paid off that.
Absolutely.
Because they are Notre Dame. They will have people show up because Notre Dame has people show up. Even if they actually did it at Notre Dame.
Yep, I agree.
And I think that might be the next move if they don't resolve this. And of course they will, because you know how they're going to resolve it. We only got 12
Another 12 teams in there. Finally.
Eventually we will have 16 or 24, one or the other. And that resolves most of it. I mean, in the end, no matter how much you increase it to, it's always going to be somebody salty. So this
Absolutely.
year it's just Notre Dame and whatnot. But in the end, do they deserve to be in it? Yeah. But did they deserve to be in it? No.
Y'all gonna learn a lesson from trying to be greedy. That
Learn
greed
and
cost
pay.
them. That was just
That
them saying,
said, here we
you
go.
know, they had to make an example. That's all it was. It was just them making an example,
Right. That's what we got. In the end, will it be Texas Tech and Indiana versus Georgia and Ohio? Oh, you dirty suck. You almost made me say it.
I'm happy. Ohio State, I'll say it for you.
My buzz nasty. Will it be one of them 4 teams that win the championship? My answer is yep.
I believe so. Let's move on, man, and let's talk about the games that happened in the NFL.
Must we? Yeah, we must. Let's go.
You know me, man. I start making them lists short and sweet, man. First off, we're going to start off with the Cowboys and the Lions game, the Thursday night football game, and we were scratching our heads on some of them calls. There was some really bad calls in the game, man. Oh my god,
man! It wasn't just that game. It wasn't just this
it
week.
was just a whole weekend.
It ain't just this weekend. It's been bad calls throughout this entire season. And now you wonder why people question the integrity of the game?
I've always questioned it as soon as this year came about, too.
Come on now. Come on now.
Very bad this year, man. And it was just blatant. It was just to the point where I was like, man, we don't know who's going to get snubbed this game. And then, of course, at the end of the day, Jahmyr Gibbs took the team and carried us on his back, man, and they pulled it out, man. And that guy been doing history, man. I just can't even explain all of the good things he's been doing, man. He basically has the highest yards per catch, and he's like he had like 47 touchdowns right now, and he's only like
He has the most touchdowns for any
24.
player under the age of 25 in NFL history, tied with, of course, the great Barry Sanders.
Man, that's crazy, man. And not only that, did his yards per catch, and he averaged 5.5 on attempts. And I think that he, in his first few years that he's played, guess whose record he passed too? He passed Jerry Rice too on touchdowns. So yeah, he's making history, man. And then the same thing. What I liked about it though, Ian, you know me, I like to poke everybody, man. You know, when they poked us and clowned, and a lot of people, and I get it because at the time we still had DeAndre Swift, man, but he wasn't part of the regime of Dan Campbell and, you know, Brad Holmes. So when we ended up getting Jahmyr Gibbs, people thought that it was crazy and it was a head scratcher. But how y'all feel now about Jahmyr Gibbs? I want to ask that question to the people who felt like we was making a mistake. I would think people, voters and stuff, and analysts gave us a D and said that it was a mistake. And that was like one of the worst moves in, you know, draft history. But where y'all at now?
And keep in mind, if you go back to that tape and see how happy Brad Holmes and them was to have got him at 12, history speaks for itself after that. But
they try to get him at 6.
Since we're talking about the Lions, and shout out to Mr. Leroy Jack, former Marine. Thank you for your service, sir. You did post a question on the Facebook page that I promised I would answer on the show. So let me find said question and let me answer that right now in regards to our Lions and have you weigh in on it as well. 1 second, Hugh, while I look that up for us.
Okay, and while we're speaking about it too, man, that final score was 44-30. So it was actually a pretty good back and forth until unfortunately Dak started to make the mistakes that we normally used to him making. But at the same time, we have to give credit what credit's due. I don't think people give credit to Kelvin Shepard enough, man, on what he's did with that defense. And hell, people think he has even less than what Aaron Glenn had, at some point. But I think it's about evenly matched on that end, in my opinion. But to do what he did with the defense, man, and then we already knew we had banged up cornerbacks, but to have the defense go after and eat, the pass rush, I was very surprised with that as well, man. They got a lot of sacks on Dak Prescott, man. It made him nervous, and at the same time, I have to apologize to you too, E, when I was saying that my man Zayden Hutchinson was MIA and he wasn't really doing what I thought he should, but he's not being greedy. He got 8.5 sacks. And Al-Qadim Muhammad has 9 sacks. But he definitely opened up a lot of space in that game for Jack Campbell, Al-Qadim Muhammad, and everybody else to go in and rush the passer. Kind of helped out on our defense too because the cornerbacks wasn't as exposed. But it seems like every now and then when we get a chance, Amik Robertson is getting cooked. Creme brulee.
Hey, bottom line, shout out to the Legion of Whom, who definitely showed up in that game. But also, again, Aiden Hutchinson, very, very good NFL player. No, he is not Myles Garrett. Nobody else in the NFL is Myles Garrett. So if you're expecting that from him and you don't get it, that's part of the issue. Which leads to this question. Leroy Post, people of Detroit should be mad at Brad Holmes for not going out and getting us that final piece to get us to a Super Bowl. Or should we just be patient again because I don't want to go through another 10 years without one? If he is good as he say they are, that is Brad Holmes, if he's good as they say he is, then why is the Green Bay Packers in first place in the division? I love my team, but come another year, what do y'all think? All right, Leroy, what I think is, again, I point out that as Lions fans, a lot of us then bumped our head and forgot where we came from. This team used to be cheeks, straight up booty, booty, booty. And here we is talking about, I'm a Lions fan. And some of y'all wore the gear proud and everything after you put the paper bag on. But nonetheless, we got a team now that people like to watch so much, we get bumped all the time to come on Thursday night and Sunday night and Monday night. Remember, we went years where it wasn't no Monday night football here in Detroit.
Prime time game.
There was no Sunday night football. Never heard. People was mad that they had to watch us on Thanksgiving. Remember them days?
Yes, sir.
Every year we had a different quarterback. I pointed this out in recent weeks, so I ain't about to go through the whole soliloquy. But long story short is how we get so titled and privileged and spoiled. Yes, I would like to see my Lions go to a Super Bowl. Yes, I would like to see my Lions win a Super Bowl. But most importantly, I'm just glad that when I turn my TV or radio on and I watch the Lions, they put up some type of performance that I actually enjoy watching, even when they lose, okay? Brad Holmes, I think, is doing a very good job with this football team. Is it the perfect job? No. But again, it's been, 60 Super Bowls now? How many teams have actually won these Super Bowls, okay? Let's go just the last 10 years. We got the Patriots, then won a couple. We got Tampa Bay won 1 year. We got Kansas City won a few years. We got Philly won a few years.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, what we got?
Ain't too many teams out there.
Well, it's a lot of teams with that same beef right now. Why my team got to do this, and this? You don't think the Bears feel like that? Yep. At least they didn't won one. But hell, they ain't been one in quite some time. You think the Packers don't feel like that? They had Aaron Rodgers. They only won one Super Bowl. You see what I'm saying? You think the Vikings don't feel like that? They ain't never won no damn Super Bowl. And we go on and on and on. Can we not just enjoy what we got right now? We see what we got going. Our team is banged up, beat up. Some of our key people hurt. If you honestly think that this team was going to win a Super Bowl. Even Brad went out and got Myles Garrett and damn old boy from the Raiders and put them both on the squad with Aiden Hutchinson. We still got to play offense, and remember the offensive line been banged up all year.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, even if he went and got the best offensive lineman that wasn't a Lion that there is, whoever you consider that person to be, was that gonna be enough to win us a Super Bowl?
I don't think so.
Hell, remember, we got a team over there called the Eagles. They got then everything that you talking about that you want us to have, right? In terms of defense and whatnot. What's their record right now, Hugh?
8-5 along with us.
I rest my case.
I feel like in this case, man, I know people are getting impatient, and most of them, what they look at is they dwell on the fact, but I feel like we overachieved and we went to the conference championship. And then we had the injury prone last season, and it just seemed like the injuries hit us again. At the same time, man, people are looking at that and they like, well, man, how come we not to where we need to be at right now? But then you still got to give credit where credit is due. Or these other teams improved, it got better. Because remember, we didn't think San Francisco was going to be competing like this. They 9-4, man, and they let some of the players leave. And they still got what they have as long as they had a foundation, even though the thing with Brandon Ayuk is getting out of hand right now, is going into an ugly divorce. But still, man, I just feel like they focus on not really all the big names. They focus on drafting well and developing players. And I think that's where you got to look at it at, man, because how many players that we have from the draft is doing successful on the team is hella as far as development. Like Jack Campbell, look at that guy now. Probably one of the best linebackers in the league. And then you got some of the other players that we actually have now, and they're still young, man. So that's what I'm looking
We got
at.
one
Man.
of the 5 youngest teams in the league still. Remember, we talking about Gibbs, for instance. Dude ain't but 24. Hell, even damn old man Jared Goff ain't but 30. Come on, man.
Remember, I used to give him a hard time, man. But if you can give him the opportunity to pass the ball and give him a chance to be clean, man, he's pretty much one of the most consistent passers in the game, like it or not.
One of the highest passing percentages, one of the tops in terms of yards, in terms of completions. We got more yak yards than most teams in the league. It's a lot good going on here. Can we not just enjoy it for what it is? Yeah, I hate the fact that we had the most expensive tickets so that some of the real fans don't get to go to the games and whatnot. But we got a good team. And I appreciate it because for many, many, many years, our team sucked. It was the worst team in the D, and it wasn't even close.
And think about this too, E. Remember when people was like, oh man, we really miss Ben Johnson, man. We still top 3 when it comes to scoring.
That part.
So yeah, that's what I look at, man. And I'm just hoping now. We already figured now that after this year it might be a divorce with John Morton, But then now I'm just looking at it from the point where, man, we just got to look at what we have, man, and try to move on from there. And I believe now, I want to focus on us trying to get into the playoffs.
That part.
I want to talk about this other game, E-Man, too, because that score, like I said, was 44-30, and I was able to sleep at night because a lot of people were upset too, and they felt like, Rex Ryan was one of the people who mentioned it. They felt like the Cowboys got cheated out of the playoffs with some of the calls in that game. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that game got called like a lot of the games that got called this season. Bad, period.
Mm-hmm.
And how many games have we played the Cowboys over the years where we got the bad calls? Let us not go back to that one fateful day. That's why to this day they yell out, he's eligible. He's eligible.
And then what about the catch, man? It's a lot of stuff that happened.
We're not even about to relive all that, man. Keep going. Keep going.
Steelers versus Ravens, man. That was a game was a head scratcher to me because I thought that it was going to be very competitive. It was competitive at some point, but at the beginning it was just all Pittsburgh, man. And I was surprised because the way Lamar Jackson played is not Lamar Jackson-esque. So I wanted to know, what was your thoughts on that, man? Because I'm not saying he played bad, but 219 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. But I believe they just had him rattled most of the game, man, and he couldn't move around and do the things that he normally used to doing.
Thought one, Lamar Jackson still hurt. Playing like a soldier, but still hurt. Thought two, both y'all fan bases some disloyal fools. The two longest tenured coaches in the NFL are John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin. And after this game,
About Mike.
both fan bases talking about y'all want them fired. Both of them. Are you for real? Both of these men have won you guys Super Bowls, okay? Have taken you to Super Bowls, all right?
Mhm.
They have mediocre seasons. It ain't like either one of these teams like the Titans or the Browns. They go finish with decent records. It's just that's the way the cookie crumbles. Understand? It's other teams in the National Football League, and we looking like, huh? What the hell you mean the Chiefs' record is such and such? What you mean Eagles only 8-5? Didn't they win the Super Bowl? I mean, come on now. It was a good game. It was a divisional game. Some bad stuff happened, true enough, but in the end, y'all got to chill out. I mean, Pittsburgh, do you got some work to do in the offseason? Yes, it's time to get younger, get better. Baltimore, you got some work to do. It's time to get everybody healthy and make a couple adjustments. I mean, in the end, both of them teams could be right back in the mix next year with
Yeah,
them same coaches.
it was still a close game, too, 27-22. It wasn't like no blowout or embarrassing loss.
And it wasn't like it was a bad game. I watched some of that game. It was an entertaining game.
Let's get to that embarrassing loss. I'm glad that you put it over into this segment. The New Orleans Saints, we can't say ain't this week, against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We already know that Tampa's banged up and what have you, but at the same time, we knew that this one was going to be a trap game because it always have been. Even when the great Tom Brady was over there in
Mhm.
Tampa Bay, they still couldn't beat the Buccaneers.
It's
They
been
couldn't
like
beat
that at Tampa ever since the days of damn Vinny Testaverde. Come on, man. It's something about when them two particular teams play each other where it's kind of, I mean, even back when them years when the Saints was dominating. If I remember right, the year where the Saints went to the Super Bowl, I do believe they lost to Tampa Bay.
twice.
See what I'm saying? It's something about them two teams when they play each other. It's different.
And the vice versa. You remember Tampa Bay lost to the Saints, and that wasn't a good team twice, and they won the Super Bowl. So it's
Yeah.
just something about that matchup. Like, remember the Patriots and the Dolphins?
Remember when Tom Brady went to Tampa Bay and early on the Saints beat that ass, and they was like, "Yeah, Tom through. He should have just retired in New England." Remember all that? Next thing you know, you look up and here they is in the Super Bowl.
Yep, winning the Super Bowl. He messed around,
In Tampa Bay.
and that was one of the craziest role, because remember they was a wild card team. That was one of the craziest wild card journeys ever, because who did they beat first? They ended up beating the Washington Commanders, and then they went and they beat the Saints. Remember, they beat the Saints at home with Drew Brees, and then they beat Aaron Rodgers on the road to the Super Bowl.
And then played the Super Bowl in their hometown, so that probably would never happen again, and won that bowl.
Yeah, they held Kansas City to 3 field goals that year. How did you feel about that score, though, man? A 24-20, man. It just seems like the Saints always had a number, man. That's why I was surprised with it.
Again, you know I say it all the time. Conference games hit different.
All right, E, man. Speaking of the conference game, let's get right into it, man. I want to talk about the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers.
They hate
Your
each other.
thoughts on that game? I like
They hate each other. They played
I like how they poked at each other, man. And then I think the worst thing that could have happened was that bulletin board material Ben Johnson gave when he said, I look forward to playing Green Bay after beating them twice in the division, last season. That's when you was a coordinator. Now you the coach. You got to put up or shut up. And in that game, we seen the Caleb Williams of old from last year. He started to pop out. Yeah, he have some flashes, last year and this year. But with 186 yards, he had 2 touchdowns, but then that pick was costly.
They
Why play
couldn't
hero ball?
run the ball effectively. That's what lost them the game.
Why try to be the hero, man? DJ Moore was wide open in the flat. Did you see that? And he tried to throw the ball over, and then he got picked. It was like, live to see another day. You can't get that 1 yard on the ground.
Caleb Williams, not quite as advertised, y'all. One of the worst passing percentages of any starter in the league.
Mm-hmm. It's just that defense, man, and that defense didn't really they only had 1 takeaway in that game. So,
And that's what it is. When Bears get takeaways, they win. When they don't, they don't.
the bottom line was that final score was 28-21. And everybody who's looking at the Bears and thinking, oh man, they're the number 1 seed. They went from in the mansion to the doghouse in 1 week. So,
But the
any
beauty
given
of it
Sunday,
is, these same 2 teams play each other next week.
I'm loving that, man. That's definitely gonna help out, man, for
In
us.
Chicago, no less. And who knows what the weather going to be like.
That's gonna be an interesting one. I'm definitely hoping that's a snow game.
And then, of course, right after that, that following week is when they play the Lions. So, yeah, it's all going to be very interesting.
All right, man. Kansas City Chiefs and Houston Texans.
The Kansas City Chiefs, as we know them, are no more. They will not make the playoffs. Changes will be made. Yes, it's probably gone ahead and have time for my man Travis Kelce to ride off in the sunset with his $1 billion bag. And as for Mahomes and them, it's time to start over and make some adjustments and see if y'all can make another quick run or 2 before Mahomes calls it a day.
Because I don't really think it's going to be too much of a heavy rebuild. Because remember, we seen that in New England when we thought that was the end of their dynasty, and it just was crazy to see. Because I questioned that at first with Bill in his draft when he ended up getting Aaron Hernandez and he ended up getting Gronk. That's probably one of the best 1-2 punch tight ends we've ever seen. So
Absolutely.
it's always like the smarter people prevail, and I think Andy Reid will get everything together. Him and the GM and everybody in that
That's so
organization.
fast, my friend. Who said that rebuild is going to feature Andy Reid? Remember, every year they've been talking about Andy hanging it up. I think
so?
I think he too may hang it up.
That's interesting. I definitely want to see if that happened too, and who will take over the reins in that whole situation.
It won't be Eric Bieniemy, that's for damn sure.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that got ugly real fast, man. And it wasn't like no spectacular game when we saw it, but people was like, man, what's up with Patrick Mahomes? I said, I'm going to tell you what's up.
Mahomes did everything he possibly could to win that game. With his offensive line banged up as it was, it's only so much you do. You know when Mahomes don't get the protection, you see what happens. Y'all saw the Super Bowl.
He had 3 of them that was out in the game, and then he turned around in the game. It wasn't even 2 plays in, and then the other offensive lineman was out. But the X factor was when Trent McDuffie got hurt, and that's when I said, yeah, man, that might be the game right here. And 160 yards and 3 interceptions is definitely not Patrick Mahomes.
Right. That in the end, make no mistake, it was the Texans defense that won them that game because that offense, it still ain't quite what it need to be.
Because remember, we were talking about it, man. We feel like Trevor Lawrence and Bryce Young is playing better than Stroud right now.
Agreed.
And that final score, 20-10, is not really justifiable of how that game was. It was just pretty much more pro defense than anything because those offenses both wasn't clicking.
Yeah, definitely wasn't my favorite Monday night game at all, or Sunday night game, I should say.
We're going to go and we're going to talk about that Monday night game now since we into it now. Your thoughts on that game, because that game was awful to me, too. That was another back-to-back stinker for the most part.
That's my exact thoughts with it. It sucked. I fell asleep on it twice. Ugh.
And the sad part is, man, 2 of them interceptions wasn't on my man's Jalen Hurts, but two of them definitely was. It was a lot of tip balls from the receivers not catching balls, but it's still something going on over there, man. And they
Again,
just talking
there's a
about it.
connectivity issue going on with that squad, particularly on that offense. They not all on the same page, people. It's
Because
very apparent.
it would have been worse if the defense didn't step up because the defense was solid, lights out, like we thought they would be. But that offense ain't getting it together, man. Devontae Smith wasn't getting that much catches. And then you had A.J. Brown who got catches, man. But then it was just weird because
Has been getting catches these last couple games, but it's not
he
letting
been
it
winning. How many games they lost straight? 3 games in a row they lost too.
three.
With him getting off like he have been. And then Saquon got off too, but then they forgot that they had him in that backfield at a certain point. And then once they start hovering at that line, then they start to stop their run game.
The team they play had a quarterback that just got out of surgery a week ago. Ain't no way in the hell they were supposed to lose that game. You could tell my man's is banged up and probably shouldn't even be playing.
Hubbard,
I'm
yeah.
talking about Justin Herbert.
Yeah, 139 yards to scoring the pick too, man. He wasn't, doing much neither, but he was doing better than Jalen on the run game, though, to get the extra yards and stuff and keep plays alive. And that's what I think happened too. But the defense, man, you got to give credit with Derwin James and, Khalil Mack and all those guys getting pressure.
Defense. They've had a good defense for years now.
So, yeah, that game, man, that final score was a tip drill interception, and Jalen Hurts had one of the worst games in his pro career, 240 yards and 4 picks, man. He only had 2 picks before the game, and then he had 4 in one game, man. And the world is turning upside down over there in Philly.
It's been like that for weeks now. It just got a little worse. It's crazy that this team messed around and won the Super Bowl last year, and you would have think it never happened the way some of these Philly fans talking about it.
Yeah, that's how they talk in Philly too, man. We would have loved to have a championship, man. But I don't think that it'll be as bad as us talking like how they talking about Philly. That final score was 22-19. It was a close one, but it was another stinker, E.
Like I said, that score don't indicate the game. I know you're like, it was close. They should have been excited. It was not. It was not.
You already know we got to get into this one too, man. If you guys want to get your pen and paper to make the
But
prediction.
no, hold on. Before you go there, we do need to talk about one key thing that also happened this Sunday: the unfortunate injury to young Danny Dimes.
Yeah, man. That might be the end of the Colts and their run right now too, because what you said, a partially torn fibula, and then he messed up his Achilles.
Yeah, a partially fractured fibula, which is his leg, and then of course, and him nursing that injury and whatnot. It was a non-contact play.
Yeah, you see, he threw it. He just fell to the ground. Yeah.
It always happens. And like I said, how many times in sports in the last few years have we seen that? Where, okay, they say this person kind of banged up, but they still decide to play, particularly when they had that calf injury. That calf injury is an indicator that you probably shouldn't be playing because that calf injury usually leads to that Achilles injury.
Yeah,
much like it did with Halliburton in the finals this year, much like it did in the playoffs with Tatum, much like it did with Dame Dollar.
Kevin Durant, that was one of the first times we've seen that.
Absolutely.
Derrick Rose, it's just a whole lot of history. Right. Plus, you already know, too.
Even in MLB, Mike Trout.
Yeah. And they need to start doing better jobs of wearing high tops, too, E. Maybe I'm just tripping, but, yeah, that's one of the things I believe, too.
All I know is that it didn't happen nearly as much up until these last few years when they changed the shoe styles and whatnot. Yeah. It is something to be said for all that.
That's one thing. Even when I was a little athletic, I wasn't trying to play with no damn low-top shoes.
No way.
Y'all ready for the predictions, man? We're going to talk about, the annual game in college, which is, of course, the Army and the Navy, and we're going to get into some of the NFL games as well. Let me know when you're ready, E, and then I'm just going to give people a chance on the show, too, to actually get their pen and pad ready.
And as always, y'all, if you got who you got, let us know who you got in the comments, and we will post it. Particularly our two main prognosticators that like to chime in, which of course is Rhodes and our good buddy Coach B. You got your
Yeah,
picks.
listen, I'm comments, baby.
Go ahead and post them in so we can post them in. All right, prediction time. Let's have
Okay.
it.
You already know what time it is. We got the good old American game. Army versus Navy. Who do you have in this one?
This year, I flipped the coin because, right, honestly, I ain't been watching Army or Navy this year. Usually, I watch a couple games so I can kind of know where to go with it. This year, I'm going Navy. I will watch the game because I like the traditions and all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a good. When you go back to college football and how it used to be before all this NIL and all this other mess, it
That's what
boils
it
down to that. Because in the end, guess what? Army people, Navy people, they don't get NIL money. They playing for the pure
No,
love of the game. Because when it's all said and done, they don't get to go home. They go back to active duty. So you got to put a little bit more respect on that because of that.
that's powerful, man. And just the way that whole jersey game changed, man. Remember we saw the helmets of the Army and Navy this year that they supposed to be advertising. Man, they took that even to another level, man, because the uniforms already start to improve. But yeah, it's just cool to anticipate that, man. That's one of the games I definitely look forward to. It's gonna be nothing else on but them at 3 o'clock on Saturday, and I'm definitely looking forward to that one.
Absolutely.
I have Navy too, man, and I'm gonna take them with the 6.5 points, man. That on the spread that they have because they're at home technically.
I mean, it's always going to be smash mouth football with them two teams. So,
We're gonna move on and we're gonna go to the NFL now too, man. The prime game is not as bad as I thought it'd be. On paper, it looked like it's going to be a little better, but then it's still not that bad, though, man. You have the Atlanta Falcons versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm taking Tampa Bay with the 4.5 points because my man's Mike Evans is back. I just got that news today.
but the bad news is Baker's still banged up, y'all.
Pretty bad.
Because of that, I'm taking Tampa Bay, but as y'all know, I don't do the points, so I just got Tampa Bay straight up.
I think 4.5 is reasonable. Buffalo Bills at the New England Patriots. They have Buffalo at 1.5. I'm gonna get that to New England at this point. I'm gonna get them at 1.5 favorite because I'm not really trusting Buffalo.
Weather predicts who wins this game. If it's a bad snowy day in New England, I'm definitely going with Buffalo. But I think just like last week, my man gonna put on his Exodus cape and show up and show out as he tends to do in snow games. If it's just a basic cold day and whatnot, I get an edge to the Patriots. So from what I know of the forecast, it should be the latter as opposed to the front. So I'm going with the Patriots.
The Detroit Lions and the Rams game. Right now, that went down a little bit too because they actually had the Rams by 5.5. It went down to 3.5. It's right back up to 5.5. And I'm looking at it like I'm just being optimistic, man. And I'm gonna go with that 5.5, and I'm taking the Rams in this one.
Last week, I picked that game based on my heart. This week, I got to pick the game based on my head and keep it 100. I don't see the Lions winning this one. Long story short, have you heard of that kid pulling the Kuka? Have you heard of that dude, Devontae Adams? And yeah, who's going to be guarding them? That's not hurt or too damn short or don't have enough experience, etc., etc. Even if Kirby Joseph do manage to play in this game, it don't matter.
I'm gonna go with DJ Reed and Rocky Ya-Sin as the ones gonna be checking them, and that ain't good either.
Right, and not to mention that defense on the Rams ain't that bad either. So I'm sorry, but I gotta go against my Lions this week and go with them Rams.
Baltimore Ravens and Cincinnati Bengals. I'm gonna go with Baltimore, but I'll take a 1.5 spread on this one because they're not really playing that good. They don't convince me enough.
Baltimore wins, but if they don't, they are definitely done for the season.
Jets and Jags, I'm going with the Jags by the 13.5. Let's be honest,
We're playing Nets.
Chargers and Chiefs. I'm gonna take the Chargers, and I'll get them.
The Chargers play the Chiefs again.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't they just play? I swear they just played like a couple weeks ago. Dang.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like it. But anyway, the Chiefs not done, but they done. I think they mess around and win this game.
Cardinals versus the Houston Texans. I'm gonna go with the Texans, but I'm gonna go under that 9.5. I'm gonna get
Now,
them
on the other hand, the Cardinals are done. They're done. If they win another game this year, I'll be stunned.
Browns and the Bears. I'm gonna go with the Bears, and I'm gonna get them that 7.5. Easy.
I got to go with the Bears, but I really don't want them to win because one, they the Bears, and two, I want my man Shador to get it in again.
Absolutely, definitely want him to play well. 360.
I'm glad that they stopped playing games with that man and announced that he will be the starter for the rest of the season.
Yeah, but look at all the
Finally,
teams.
somebody in Cleveland made some decent decisions.
Yeah, he got a rough road ahead, man. Look at that schedule, E.
Oh, well, that go without saying. But if you want to know if he's going to be the guy, these are the type of games you need to see him playing.
Agree. Commanders and Giants. I'm going to go with the Giants on this one with Jackson Dart. And then, like you said, man, watching the Commanders, it's not the same team they was last year. They crept up on everybody last year, but with them injuries and stuff, man, that definitely ain't
Please, for the love of God, sit Jay Daniels down for the rest of the season and stop smirking. When will Washington ever learn about doing their quarterbacks dirty, man?
Absolutely.
Have we
Remember,
not learned from damn RG3 what happened there? Come on, man. That dude ain't gonna be 100% the rest of the season. Y'all not going nowhere. Shut him down. Shut him down so y'all can get a better pick so you can get rid of some of these old folks y'all got.
Because they definitely old. But remember when I told you, man, there ain't no way in hell he should be trying to play right now with that injury he had to his arm and the way it happened. And they still played him, man. And you don't want to mess with the kid's career. All right, E-Man. Raiders and the Eagles. They going to really beat the Eagles, and I got them by that 11.5.
Dude, do you understand what happens if by some miracle the Raiders smirk around and beat the Eagles? You talking about pandemonium in Philly?
Everybody on that
they gonna want everybody gone.
This game would have been good with Danny Dimes in the building, but it's not. The Colts versus the Seahawks. I'm taking the Seahawks in the 13.5.
Now, here's the thing. As it's been announced, Phillip Rivers, yes, that Phillip Rivers, has been signed by the Colts to play quarterback at damn near 45. Do you not understand that Phillip Rivers is all of a grandpa right now playing football? And that's just how desperate things have gotten for the Colts. That being said, Seahawks win this game. It'd be a great story, though, if they pull it off. Why?
This is a good one right here, E, man. Thank God this is a 4 o'clock game, too, man. The 4 o'clock games is bringing it for the most part. Besides the one game in the 4 o'clock window, Packers versus the Broncos.
Packers, Broncos. That's in Denver?
Yes.
Weather should be interesting in that game as well. Again, if that's a snow game, I got the Broncos. If it's not a snow game, I'm going with the Packers. They will be able to throw on that defense, not so much with the run. Their defense should be able to keep Bo Nix chilling. So, going with Packers.
I'm going to pull with the Packers, too, with the 2.5-point favor on the road. These are the bad two games. Tennessee Titans versus 49ers. I'm taking the Niners with the 12.5. E.
Tennessee, I hope y'all enjoyed that little win y'all had last week. That's the last one I see y'all doing. And it should be the last one you want to do because you need some help for your boy.
You do. Panthers and Saints. I'm going to go with the Panthers. I'm going to take that 2.5-point favor.
What's the game?
Panthers and Saints.
Okay, y'all. Don't be surprised if next week we like, damn, they did it again. Them conference games hit different, especially in that damn NFC South. You just don't know what to expect.
and then New
Fuck it.
Orleans
I'm picking the upset. I'm going with the Aints.
Vikings and the Cowboys. I'm gonna go with the Cowboys at home in 5.5. I'll take that spread.
McCarthy looked good last week. Maybe not so much this week, but we shall see. In the end, it don't matter. I got them boys.
Dolphins versus the Steelers is the Monday night game. Not as bad as I thought it would be because the Dolphins have been playing a little better. It could have been worse, and I'm glad it's not. But I'm still taking Pitt at home, and I'll take them with the 3 points.
Are you there? There you go. He's back.
Yeah, I was waiting on you. Your screen was doing the froze on me, buddy.
No, yours disappeared on me. But anyway, yeah, again, I will have to go with them Steelers. I don't think they're done yet.
And that's all I have on my end, man. Anything else you need to add, brother?
Hell yeah, we forgot a very important developing story going on. As you guys know, the baseball winter meetings are going on, and we are definitely got some deals working. A couple of the deals that have worked out in the last 24 hours. You don't hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, yeah. Kyle Finnegan, the closer, will now definitely be the closer for the Tigers if they have signed him for a 2-year deal. Good deal for
19.
that. Speaking of closers, Edwin Diaz has
Yeah,
signed a deal to be the closer for the Dodgers.
the bridge
Like
getting
the
ready.
Dodgers need more help. And
Pretty much.
speaking of possible more help that they may get, it has been rumored that the 2-time Cy Young Award winner Tarek Skubal is currently working out a deal to become a Dodger. But two of the things holding up the deal is one, Tigers want a lot in return, as they should. And
Absolutely.
two, the Dodgers require that Skubal signs a long-term deal right now before they trade for him. And of course, his agent is saying that's cool as long as you make him paid. And remember, they're already paying a punk load of money to my man's
Shohei Ohtani.
and to Yamamoto. So between the two of them, remember, between the two of them, that's $1 billion, okay? Those two players alone are scheduled to make $1 billion in their time with the Dodgers. And that's not counting Blake Snell that's making a nice bit of money. That's not counting Glasgow. That's not counting Mookie Betts. That's not counting Freeman. They're already paying a lot of money over there. So, I'm sure the whole deferred payment thing comes into play because that's how they like to play games. But in the end, if they do pull that deal off, I have a hard time
I think
seeing
it's
the
gonna be
Dodgers.
something to be watch out for too, man, because I'm interested.
Oh, hold on. Here we go. Yeah, long story short, if the Tigers do make the deal, please make sure y'all get sufficient because people gonna be mad that you traded Scoob. Even though clearly it seemed like he not trying to be here because his agent ain't trying to have him here because he's trying to get him paid out the man. Trust and believe that deal goes down in the next 24 hours. Terry Scooper will be the highest paid pitcher ever.
Yeah, and I don't think we got the money to be able to keep him on our roster. So
we can't afford it, nor should we. Because the minute that man get hurt, that's all you will hear about on Detroit Sports Talk Radio. Why we pay Scooper all that money? We ain't win no Super Bowl. Or we only, we ain't went to no World Series. Or we only won one World Series. And so on and so forth. Yeah. I'm not trying to hear all that.
Agreed.
You have my blessing.
I like the polar bear news too. The Pete Alonso going to the
that's definitely a good move for Baltimore. They had a bad year last year, but they still got a lot of young talent over there. I definitely think that's one of the things that will help them be back in the mix, and I'm pretty sure they're not dealing over there in Baltimore.
I definitely feel like they're gonna bounce back this year too. So I'm looking forward to seeing how
Alonso gone now. Don't be surprised if the Dodger deal don't go through, that the Mets become a player in the Scuba sweepstakes as well.
Wouldn't be surprised whatsoever, man. Them big market teams gonna definitely be sharks out for blood.
Absolutely.
Well, that's all I have, B, man. Anything else?
That's what I got, y'all. I appreciate y'all. Let Hugh do his thing now. Handle your business, Hugh.
Appreciate everybody who chimed in. Like to say thank you all. Appreciate all the people on the Nighthawk Network. You know who y'all are. I would like to say shouts out to all the people who chime in, and we want y'all to hit them comments a little bit more as well. You can catch me at Hoovy on Instagram, WHOOVI. And then you can catch me on Facebook too as well as Sports Guru to You, where I put the breaking news like I just did too with the Sharon Moore fireman from Michigan. And then you can catch me too on TikTok, the Hugh.Lee6, of course. I appreciate all the people right now who's been chiming in and who listened to the report, the breaking news on Instagram. I just reached over 1,500 after that. I would like to say I appreciate it, man, and keep it up, man. And like I said, man, you guys can follow us at the Sports Guru to You. And for the most part, follow us on the Guru Sports Session on Wednesday at 9 p.m. and the Guru's Perspective at Tuesday on 7 p.m. But yeah, I'd like to say thank you all, and I appreciate you guys.
And there you have it, man. Another show in the books. Again, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you. Shout out to all our other affiliates in the Nighthawk Network, Big Meech, Dr. Marla, Pastor Sean, Coach B, Ro, Queen Gemini, the whole gang, okay? Much love. Until next time, next week, where we talk more sports with y'all. Enjoy the games, y'all. We'll see you then. You know what to do, Hugh.
Till next week.